what do you say? Subscribe, like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, follow the pod.
Not always.
On
Not
Spotify.
always on the end. It's more like it'll be
Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you join me next week.
not like a newscaster, but similar. All right. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the Barbells and Trails podcast. This week, I actually have someone with me that didn't want to come when she was fucking here, but guess what? She's back. She couldn't stay away. She missed me too much. So she's back yet again, actually recording, and we're here. So let's just talk about some things. You know, I heard you had a rough week.
Yes.
With yeah, are we clearing our throats? With multiple situations. One of those being your card getting hacked.
Yeah, I remember
what
that happened.
What porn sites were you purchasing off of, Bailey?
It wasn't porn. It was TikTok, and it had 2 purchases. And I don't know. And so I had to get a new card, but luckily I got it within like 2 days. So.
Is that what the kids call it nowadays? You know, I'm just watching TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's not always a great way to start your first
That was
week
literally
back.
the first day I was back.
Yeah. And it's been interesting. It's weird January right now. It's like this week at one point it was 50 degrees and it's January 10th.
I don't
like,
mind it. I don't
10th.
like the cold.
I hate it. I hate it, especially in January. Like, yeah, it's fine if it's March, but fuck this shit. But also, I've been doing carnivore, you know that. I made it past the halfway point without cheating. I did dream about eating popcorn, though, like,
yeah, you told me that
4 days ago.
That was how you cheated.
Yeah, that's how I cheated with this popcorn, not, like, anything else. And it was literally a dream of you and me in the kitchen. And I pulled out a plate and put popcorn on it. And then you caught me. And you were like, really? And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. This is mine.
On a plate.
Yes. I put popcorn on a fucking plate in my dream. And I had a dream the other day that I was at Disney World being chased by wolves. And then I needed to find a bathroom. So I called my dad and was like, hey, where's the bathroom around here? Until I found a map. And then I woke up and it was 3:00 and I really had to pee. And I went back to sleep. So I've had some wild dreams.
Those are weird. I've never had dreams like that ever.
I don't think I've had dreams like that either. And one of them, Kiki was in it. And for some reason she was hanging out with me. And then we were like, in the dream, this was at Disney World. We were like doing some like tour thing, something or other, and she like needed help up, and she like wanted me to come help her, and she's like, Brett, I love you, and I was like, okay, like I love you too, Kiki, because she like doesn't, and I like helped her up, and then she's like, just kidding, and she just like ran off, and I was like,
just kidding. That is so. That is such a thing
actually
she would do.
something she would do in real life
for sure.
So I was like, man, my subconscious is fucking weird. But I've had some interesting dreams.
Well,
have you been dreaming about anything?
No, I haven't been sleeping very well. Since I've been back to school, I just can't sleep.
Why?
I don't know. I will go to bed, and I'm, like, ready to go to bed, and I'm, like, super exhausted, and then I wake up every hour before I go to, like, actually need to wake up. I'm waking up, like, every hour. Or I'm, like, not sleeping very deeply, and I, like, anything and everything will wake me up.
I get that. Anything else interesting happened this week? Real quick, guys, now that I got your attention for one moment, please consider subscribing, commenting, and liking down below. Follow on all different platforms. Follow the other channels. Go subscribe to them. Trying to grow the clips and shorts channels. Anything else?
Subscribe, like, and comment.
Yes. Go on Spotify. Listen to it on Spotify if you guys don't want to listen to it on YouTube. Whatever. I'll see you guys all later. Let's get back into the podcast.
I don't like one of my professors. And my roommates argued about a Brita.
All right. No, fuck you. Basically, the main reason you came home was because you forgot to turn in a gym key.
Yeah.
And other than that, you probably wouldn't have came home.
Probably not.
And you still didn't drop it off the first day you were home.
No.
And
that's on the to-do list.
And you were within 5 minutes from that.
That's on the to-do list for tomorrow.
I bet it is. And so you have a 3-day weekend as we speak. I do not. I got so used to both of us having you were off and me having a 3-day weekend. I was like, yeah, Monday off. I was like, oh wait, that's just Bailey. Shit, I actually gotta go to work tomorrow. But we watched something pretty interesting yesterday. With a buddy of mine.
Rewind. I had a question.
Oh.
When you're done with your diet, what do you think is the first meal you're gonna have? Have you thought about it?
No. I don't think I care that much. I think I'll literally I'll stop and then I'll probably end up being something stupid like yogurt. I'll be like, I miss yogurt. Yogurt's nice. I miss dairy. Dairy's good, man. I love my dairy. It might kill me, but it's okay. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I guess the first few days were rough. The first week was probably the hardest, just getting used to it. But I wouldn't say I necessarily miss anything. There's not anything that I'm like,
craving.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
No, I haven't had any cravings. Obviously, pasta or something would be nice, but I don't eat it that often anyways. So it's the only carbs I would be missing right now is rice. The main thing I'm missing from my diet that I would eat the majority of is dairy products. That's cut out. So that one I might be missing a little bit. But no, it's not bad. And that was it, right? That was the only question you had? Okay. I didn't know you had more. And then also you stole my books. How are those going?
Good. Not as fast as progress as I wanted because this week was a little hectic being back at school. But I'm in the middle of the third one and hope to start the fourth one pretty soon, but I'll see.
I'm curious. Could you explain the book series?
The third one?
No, just in general, what it is.
I don't really know what year it's supposed to be set in, but obviously...
It's not real.
Well, no shit.
So there's no year, Bailey.
Well, it's...
That's like me going on Game of Thrones and being like, well, I don't know if this is the 1600s.
Okay, whatever. There's... I don't know how to explain it. There's an empire, and then there's
All right, I got you.
Yeah, I'm really bad at explaining books.
You're bad at explaining.
I hope you felt that.
I didn't. But, so, it's a book written by Saba Tahir, and it's called, the first book was An Ember in the Ashes. None of the titles actually, are the same. And, I think she just finished the series.
If you like fantasy, you will love this book.
Which, you saying that doesn't make sense.
I love fantasy. Fantasy and historical fiction are
Bro,
my
you don't watch
books.
Lord of the Rings. The only thing you watch is Harry Potter.
I've watched Lord of the Rings with you and Dad. Yes, I have. And I've watched Hobbit. I have watched all of
Hobbit,
them.
Yeah.
Don't even. I have watched those movies with you. And I've watched
Have you
Star
watched the
Wars
extended cuts?
and... What?
Are you watching extended cuts?
Maybe. I don't know.
Probably not. But either way, this book probably came out... The first one probably came out, 2015? I actually came upon it for a writing assignment in my sophomore English class. And it was supposed to be a book list off of this specific thing. My English teacher loved talking about the civil rights movement and similar topics. You never had her.
Who? McCord?
No, I'm blanking on her name, but you weren't there. Keo?
I had her for 2 days.
Oh,
and she gave us a homework assignment on the first day of class.
Yeah, of course she did.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a list of books, all of them having to do with some themes of oppression, and I just happened to walk across this book. I was like, sounds kind of interesting. I read the back, kind of like looked through it a little bit, and I was like, all right, picked it up and I was like, I guess I'll read this. Ended up reading it, loved it, and immediately was like, is there a second book? Second book like just came out, I think, that year at that point. And I immediately, as soon as I brought back the first one to the library, I grabbed the second one and was like, all right, I'm reading this shit. I eventually bought the books myself and bought the third one because it wasn't even out yet. And then I kind of forgot the fourth one was going to get out and when. And then along that situation, you got into it because I was like, hey, maybe try reading this book because you never read. And I was like, try this one. And you started to read it, and then you got hooked. And I was kind of like, oh, shit. Wasn't totally expecting that. But either way, so the way this is written is, I guess it's like a historical fiction in a way where she kind of takes certain historical cultures and kind of combines them. Like certain things are very like Greek and like Spartan themed with like the warrior culture of this empire, but you also have very like more Eastern Indian themes on certain aspects, and because she is Indian, and just like different stuff throughout this, and like a more fantasy like historical world, made up world. But it's really good. You follow two main characters, one being a soldier that was trained from the age of 5 to 18 to basically be a killing machine. And
I think it was further than 18 because he's like 21.
That might be about 20 then.
Or no, he's 20. In the first book, he was 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a girl from the slums basically would be the best way to put it, of the city that ends up.
Or like they're what they
involved.
like slaves.
Yeah, they're a lower class citizen.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why the book fell in line with that writing assignment, was because of that aspect of the book. And it's really good. I actually kind of forgot about it, and the fourth book came out, and I made Bailey buy it for me because I was like, shit, I bought the other 3 books, and you've stolen them from me for like 4 years. You can buy this book. It's $12 fucking. So here you go pay for it. And you did, so I was happy. It was like a Christmas gift that I forced you to buy for me. But I wasn't going to complain. Neither of us have read it yet. You're going to be the first one. But it's a good book series. I'm definitely going to reread everything. To catch up.
Like, I am not a book reader because I've always hated reading because I was very, very bad. And that's just why, like, I was so scared to pick up a book because I automatically assumed I can't read it. And so I just wouldn't. But when I started reading these, the first time I read it, I read the first 2 books in a week. And then before I left, and they're about 450 pages each. When I left to go back, before I left to go back to school, I read the first 2 books again within like a week and a half. But I was also working, and the first time I read it, I wasn't. Because I was like, freshman in high school?
Yeah, roughly.
And I might have read it during the summer. I don't know. But I, like, read all day.
Yeah. No, it's a good series. I'm excited to reread it. But, yeah, you've never been a book person, really. I was the only one that got into it, and it was just kind of a happy accident.
I really like a book, I can read it fast.
Yeah, but the books you, like, liked as a kid were, like...
I really loved Charlotte's Web.
It was like Judy B. Jones and shit for a while. I never really
read. I had those.
It was something weird. It was those weird pet books.
Mom and them would always give them to me for like Christmas or my birthday, and I never read any of them.
Because it has a little girl in it.
And
maybe it relates.
The only like for the first book I remember ever like throughout elementary or middle school, because I was so behind on my reading level, the first book I ever finished and actually like loved it was Charlotte's Web, and I still to this day love it, even though it's for like a first grader. I don't
like it that much. I like the movie.
I like the movie, but I love the book too. And then there's a few books in middle school and like high school that I read that got me more into reading, but it's really hard for me to like get
Like,
into a book if I
never,
don't.
like, I'm
If I don't
surprised.
automatically like it, you can't get me to, like, within the first chapter. If I don't really
No,
like it, I won't.
You got to grow out of that, because some of the books I've read this year is like, I knew and I've heard good things about these books, and they're not the same, because some of the books I've read this year have not been what you're reading now, like the real life shit. So it's like, it's a whole different thing. It's not wrote for entertainment. It's written for education in some form.
Yeah, I've always been into fiction.
But it's like, it's not necessarily, it is like, it's different. You don't have that hunger to keep reading as much as something that's just pure entertaining as you do with that, but it can still be fascinating where you're like, yeah, I want to see like what happens. But it's, I was going to ask you this, because I've had this debate with a few people. Does listening to an audiobook count as reading a book? I say yes.
I mean, I would say yes.
Because
you're still getting the same content.
That's
like, you're still like going through the whole book.
Exactly. I see it as a yes, because it is a way to still consume the information and everything that's in the book.
I used to read. That's how I used to do books in school.
I did that like once in school, but it's a lot different now, because like back then it wasn't like,
I would just like
have it on
they
iPhone.
get your headphones in from school, and I would follow along with, and it was just a lot easier.
Sometimes I did that to follow along. That yes, I did that too, but like, I think when I read The Great Gatsby, I pulled up YouTube videos of someone reading it. I put it on like 1.5 speed, and then I just kind of followed along and read with them. But because I use Audible, and that's probably how I read the majority of my books this year. But some people would say that doesn't count. But for me, it's like, to actually sit down and read a book compared to like me washing the dishes or doing laundry and listening to an audiobook, or driving and listening to an audiobook. I feel like
maybe some people would argue that you wouldn't like
you're not as focused.
And you'd like forget a lot of the not comprehend, that's not the word I'm looking for. Not
digest it.
Yeah.
As much. I get what you're saying, because there are times you kind of space out slightly, and that happens. But it's like, also, I mean, I've seen memes of this, but it's very true. But like, when you're driving, and every once in a while you kind of like daze out and don't even realize it. You're like, I just went like 4 miles. What the? I don't even remember looking at the road.
I just saw something that's like, when you get to your destination and you don't know how you got there. I'm like, that happens to me all the time.
And that's not a good thing. But it's like, it's similar to that, where it's like sometimes your brain just does kind of go elsewhere, and it's hard to focus.
I would consider it still counting as reading.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
But like, me personally, I think, I don't know. I was going to say something.
I mean, I think as a kid, it was easier to find time to read. Mm-hmm. I typically read in school, but I also read on any open opportunity, depending on the book. Because if it's something I was really into, it's like, I would read all the time. Any open space I had. I almost got sent to the principal's office for reading a book in my health class, because I pissed off my health teacher, because I didn't want to sit there and listen to him fucking bullshit about sports. So I was sitting there reading.
That's all he ever did. Or he'd read off the slides and only talk to the kids that played basketball.
I didn't.
Because he was the coach.
Yeah. I was like, this is more interesting than you. And it pissed him off. But it's true. and it's just like, I don't know. It's just hard, because especially with my work, it's like, I don't want to take a book with me. Mm-hmm. It's just going to get like dirty. Like, I don't want to ruin books I have by taking them to work with me. So it's like, if I don't do that, where I could read at lunch or certain instances at times, it's like trying to then do stuff at home, maybe work on something for the podcast or do something, and then like spend half an hour to an hour reading. It's kind of hard. That's why there for a minute, when I was reading a physical book, I tried doing at least like a half hour in bed, like right before I went to bed. Mm-hmm. And that was a way I would try getting through a book. And that kind of worked.
Because, like, me, I would bring the book, because I was, like, trying to get it done. I'd bring one of the books to work, and I don't know why the fuck I thought I was going to be able to read it. I work in a kitchen. But I would bring them into the book, or bring the book into work, and I'd hope that I would somehow magically get to read. Yeah. No. The only time I got to read one day is when I worked a double and we had an hour break in between, and I went out to the car, grabbed the book, and read.
Real quick, I was thinking about this. I kind of wanted to. I don't know if I wrote it down, but I wish I had my list. It's on my phone. But I think this year I read, which isn't a lot, but I think I read 14 books. Still the most books I've read in 1 year for me personally, in a while. And I was going to go through what all I read this year, but it's on my phone. So I know I read Thirst for Charity Water. I read 12 Rules of Life by Jordan Peterson. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Five Regrets of the Dying. Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. Oh, there's so many more. My brain just can't compute. Oh, Power of Habit. That's it on that shelf. Atomic Habit. Shit. Man, I really should have prepared. But I want to read more this year. I was like, that's not a bad shout, but I want to try getting more.
I've never done that before in my life. And
that's where the audiobooks come in handy, and that's part of the thing. Is like I can do some other tasks because I already listen to podcasts when I'm doing other stuff. So it's very similar, and I still I retain the information, but also at times you get fed so much information that yes, at times you forget shit. So it's the same thing. It's like if I read 1,000
sometimes
books,
I have to go back and like reread and be like, what the hell did I just read?
If I read 1,000 books in my lifetime, I'm not going to be able to pull anything from the book, just like a podcast. I listened to 68,000 minutes of Joe Rogan this year. There's certain things I could pull out. There's a lot I fucking can't. Mm-hmm. But there was a lot of fascinating information that I was like, this is cool. Or some that was just funny. It just depends. But it is interesting, and I thought I'd bring that up because I've had debates with people about that before, and I'm like, I get what you're saying, but I think it counts. Now I wonder what my mom would say.
Does he do a lot of audio?
He does do audiobooks.
And he has his Kindle, which I couldn't do it that way.
I could do a Kindle.
You used to have a Kindle, but like me,
I think I could do it.
If I were to read, I either need to hear it in my ear or I need to have a physical book in front of me. I couldn't do it on a screen.
I could probably do a Kindle, but also me personally that I found out, like I bought some books the other day. I spent $75 on 3 fucking books. There was other books in there that I was like, I know I want to read this. And I know books are worth buying at one point because it is really good to try getting that. Like if you're going to spend money on anything, a book's worth it more than a lot of shit. But it's like I could have got those 3 books on Audible for $30 or less, depending. And that's one thing that's also nice is it's convenient. It's always with me. It's downloaded. I don't need Wi-Fi. It's here, and I can listen to it whenever, wherever, and I always got it. So it's like there's a toss up of also I don't gotta store them. Yeah, they're on my phone. Like technically on my phone right now, I've bought and have like 40 books on Audible. I got a lot to read, but so that it was just an interesting topic. But speaking of fantasy stuff and books and historical fictions, I told you that I accomplished watching Game of Thrones in 10 days. When I told Kelvin, he seemed disappointed because he's like, do you have a fucking life?
I heard him.
Yeah, and I was like, no.
So, that's me too, so.
I mean, that is a lot, and you get the binge bug as well, so you can't say shit, really.
Oh, I can't. I'm not saying anything because I've done that.
But it's like, I don't know if I told you this, but like, even when I was working that week, when you were still home and stuff, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to bed. I was on my phone the entire time.
Oh, I know. I could hear you.
Oh, I would be up till 1 almost every night for 2 weeks watching Game of Thrones, getting 5 hours of sleep. 6, roughly, watching Game of Thrones. And watching it, don't tell my bosses, but at work when I was doing other stuff. Watching it at break. Watching it at lunch. Watching it in the car. Driving.
That's bad.
Just sitting to the side. Because there's certain scenes, it's like, I knew it was getting to something interesting, I was like, pause. Like, I gotta actually like watch this. Like, I gotta wait till I get home. So I watched it, ridiculous speeds, and I did podcast about it last week. Thinking about it, I didn't actually talk about what the show was. I just talked about like aspects of the show. I didn't actually explain the show at all, but I made you watch the first episode yesterday because I was like, I feel like in general this is a show that you would like because there's just so much in the show that it has something I feel like for everybody, and it's so different than so many other shows that I was like, I think you would like this. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make you watch the first episode just to see what you think. I never got to kind of pick your brain a little bit, so I'm curious, what was your thoughts on your first impressions of Game of Thrones? Technically you had seen bits from when I was watching it, but
I think maybe you are right that I would watch it. But I also think that at first it would be confusing because they go back and forth between different people and different kingdoms, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, the incest shit really got me. It still gets me. I don't know. And then
I mean, I wasn't expecting it, but I was just like, okay, well, that's a thing.
I mean, it kind of just like immediately took off, and I liked it, but they're long episodes, and I'm like confused at who's who in the first episode. I'm like, there's already 7 million people I need to remember.
That's the thing. There's a lot of characters, but like I talked in the last podcast about, it's very similar to books, like the one you're reading.
Yeah, it goes back and forth
between perspectives.
Which sometimes, like with the book, right now, I'll like, if something will end and I know it's gonna change because I've read it before. Because like the second and third one goes back between 3 people.
Yeah.
Technically 4.
You haven't read the third one.
Huh?
Wait, have you read the third one?
Half of it before. I never finished, but I did read half of it. And like at first I wasn't sure if I'd be able to follow along, but like now I'm like waiting until it gets to that back to the first person that I was at. Because I'm like, what's happening next with this person? And then I'm like, oh wait, we need to go back because I want to know.
And that's what happens in the show. Because there's times where you're like, we haven't been back to this character for a while. What's going on with them?
That's
or they'll leave it kind of on a, not necessarily a cliffhanger, but kind of like there's a little tension on whatever's about to happen with this person. And then it's like, nope, you're over here now. And then you're like, fuck, I want to go back to this storyline and see what happens. And I think that's also how they hooked people so well. And part of that, I think, is just the book.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until after I finished the show, and I think possibly even, I don't even know if I talked about it in the podcast, the last book isn't written yet for Game of Thrones. It's not released. So apparently I think it's the last 2 seasons were basically written by the show writers on I don't know how they think it would happen or what. Like, I don't know exactly what they based it off of because I've never read the books. So I think that's one reason why there was aspects of the show that people got upset about for people that read the books a lot and like were fans way before the show came out. But I mean, I liked it. But you're right, there is a lot of characters and it is a broad map. It took me like maybe the first season and a half to really understand like the geography of the show. And I'll be honest, I was sitting there during the show at times on my phone pulling up a map to be like, where are they at? Like of the show, to be like, oh, got you, that's here, this is there, to know like relevancy of like who and who's where and understand. But it definitely hooks you, it really does.
Yeah.
But you did like it?
Yeah, because I was really shocked how the first episode ended, and I was like,
you understand why?
But I obviously know he doesn't die because you already told me he didn't die. Because you're like, he looks so young here, and I'm like, okay, so he doesn't die, but
no. But I think that I feel like even if you didn't know the show, and then even watching it, it just seemed too perfect for him just to die.
Yeah.
And it's like, if they literally just killed this kid within the first episode, it would have been very like, oh, fuck, this is how this show's going.
Yeah.
But so even watching it, you're like, did he really die? And then that's also why you're like, you want to watch the second one because it ends there. And you're like, did he die?
Yeah.
And you want to find out. That's why when I first watched it, I was just like, you were reading when you were home for vacation. And I was like, you know what? I don't really got a whole lot to do. Let me watch the first episode of Game of Thrones, see what I think about it. And I got to the end, and I was like, came in, I was like, Bailey, I'm already starting the second one. I got to find out what the hell just happened. And you're like, what? I was like, don't worry about it. And
I was like in my zone. He was in his zone. Like, even though he blames me for not recording the podcast or not being on the podcast the whole entire time I was home, it was not my fault. I offered multiple times.
No, wait.
Yes, I did. On when to record. You said, hey, we're recording now. I said, okay, let me know. I'm reading. Come get me.
There was a few situations that were like that, and that was my bad. I will agree, but I mentioned it to you, I think 3 or 4 days ago. I was like, hey, or before, and it was like that weekend, and I was like, hey, I want you to record with me.
And I said, okay.
You said okay, but you never was like I was like, hey, can you record with me? Like implying that day, but you were never like, yeah, sure, like you want to do it now.
I asked you so many times.
Not those days. It was like 3 days later.
Bullshit. I asked you, okay, just let me know when. I said every time you asked me, I never said no. I said yes no. Every time.
But then you were reading.
But don't even blame it on me. You were watching your show out there like as soon as you got home from work, and I was reading as soon as I got home from work. And I was like in the zone.
Are we addicts?
Yeah.
Damn.
What was it? The first day that I read them again, I lost track, and I read from like 6:30 at night to 1 a.m.
We're addicts.
And I was like, holy fuck. And then I like, when you like read for so long, you look up and everything's like blurry. Does that happen to you? Happens to me sometimes. Happens to Morgan. I asked her too.
Yeah, I think so.
But I like looked up and was like, what the hell? And then I looked down at the clock and I was like, Jesus fuck, it's 1 a.m. Yeah, so.
Okay, that's fair. Got you. But it's still a good show. So you liked it. You liked the first episode.
Yeah.
You think you're going to go back to school and watch it?
It depends. This semester's going to be a lot more crazy than last semester. So I haven't quite figured out my schedule yet on like my times that I'm going to like study, the times that I'm trying to go to the gym. Like I haven't done any of that yet. So I have to get there.
Yeah, I mean, either. I'm going tomorrow, guys. I promise. Right?
You said you were.
Yep. It is kind of weird. This has probably been my not last year as in 2022. I don't think I had a month break. I might have at one point. I always end up having a month off somewhere. And this one originally started because I was sick. That's what got me out of the gym for 2 weeks. And then it was my vacation week. And then it was the week after Christmas. And it was kind of like, and then it was the next week. The next week. And then here we are. So, but
I just haven't figured out my schedule because I thought our gym opened a lot sooner at school. No. So it gives me like, if I were to go to the gym in the morning, they don't open until 7. And it would give me like only 30 minutes to get ready and get to class. And then I don't like going at night because it's real busy at night. And I prefer in the afternoon because like you go at like right at the right time when I used to go and there's no one in the gym. But now I have late afternoon classes. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Freddie keeps trying to get me to go to Kokomo. And I'm like, dude, for you, it's like a 10-minute drive. For me, it's like a half hour.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. I Although
Even though he
I would
has
love
like
the
a lot of the
anemones.
stuff that he
Anemones?
had.
And what's the words? That's the right word.
Anemones? I don't think so. I know what you're meaning though.
Amenities. Amenities?
Maybe.
Okay. We don't know. But I don't know if I told you this. I'm going to try ordering that polar thing, the polar plunge tub thing, because I don't think I'm ever going to get your cattle trough. But
you've been there like 3 times.
I know, but this is portable and it's like inflatable. So that's kind of nice. And then I found on Amazon, I've wanted a sauna so bad. And my last gym had a sauna. This one does not. Saunas are amazing.
Can I try it once? I've never been in a sauna.
Oh, 100%. This will be different, though, because it's different than the shit I went to. So, typically, when I was in the dry sauna, I would go at 190 for 20 minutes. Oh, yeah. And this, though, it's different. It's a steam sauna, so it will feel hotter because there's humidity. And I think it goes up to 120. But when you have the steam, it will be like 160 or 70 or something. I thought
you were only supposed to be in the sauna for like a few minutes.
Nah, you're fine. As long as you're not like elderly. And you know what you're doing.
But I thought you told like grandpa to start doing it, but only being there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's my 72-year-old grandfather that doesn't go in a sauna. At the time, I was doing this almost daily. So it wasn't a big deal. And I even told you that there was one time after I didn't do it for a while, I went and hit it again hard, and I left, and my heart was like palpitating, and I was like, whoa. Real quick, guys, now that I got your attention for one moment, please consider subscribing, commenting, and liking down below. Follow on all different platforms. Follow the other channels. Go subscribe to them. Trying to grow the clips and shorts channels. Anything else?
Subscribe, like, and comment.
Yes. Go on Spotify. Listen to it on Spotify if you guys don't want to listen to it on YouTube. Whatever. I'll see you guys all later. Let's get back into the podcast. Because it's basically...
So, like, when you first start, you should start with, like, 5 minutes?
Not 5. 5 minutes, I'll feel like, is really enough to accumulate your body to the temperature. But maybe 10 minutes or something, but at a lower temperature. And then slowly work your way up. Technically, I was probably overdoing it at 190. But... that's all right. It's not that bad. I find that actually easy compared to like an ice bath for some reason. Both uncomfortable, but I find that one easier. And but it's not bad. And this is like a portable sauna thing, whatever. And I was like, a couple $100. I'd love to get one at my house, but to actually get even a decent infrared sauna is like $1,500, if not more. And I've never even used an infrared sauna, let alone to have the place for it. So it's like a couple $100 for this shit. I'll take it if it at least can get hot in there.
When you told me like portable sauna, I just think of the saunas from Two Broke Girls when they're sitting in the living room.
I'll be honest, I contemplated those, and because you could get those pretty cheap. I was like,
they looked pretty cool, even though it was a TV show. I was like, oh,
yeah, you're like fancy little sauna seats, but it's. We'll see how that goes. It's fun, and it's really good for you too. Like doing a sauna is like doing cardio, and I hate cardio. So if you do sauna, it can lower your chances of heart attack by like 75%.
We have a sauna in the gym, but like for a while we couldn't figure out how to
use it,
work it, because like there's like switches inside and outside, and then we tried to like turn some of them on.
Did you ask someone?
No. But we eventually figured it out, but we haven't used it.
You gotta let it warm up,
We haven't used it. We just, like, turned it on to see if we knew how to turn it on, and then never used it.
Basically, the one at my old gym was basically like a big electric heater that you turn on, and then you need to give it, like, 20 minutes for the room to actually heat up, and then get in there.
I mean, I saw one girl come out of it before, but I don't use the gym locker room, and that's where the sauna is.
This one, though, like I said, the one I'm getting has a steamer. So then you can also put, like, eucalyptus. You can put, like, salt in the stuff, and it'll steam it and bring it in. Or, like, peppermint, and get peppermint, just steam. Oh, clear you out.
If you're sick?
Yeah. So I was like, you know what, couple $100 or something like that, and if I felt sick, just hop in that thing and just aerate and sweat that
I feel
out.
like that'd be kind of nice. The
No,
peppermint smell.
sauna's
Like,
good for you when you're sick. That's why I'm like, I wish I had one. And so I'm kind of excited to do that.
I wish I had a humidifier. On the topic of being sick, I don't know why. Because we can't have them at school, and almost every morning I wake up, my nose feels like dry and like I can't breathe.
Sometimes it's not my nose.
Even
it's
here,
my throat.
I'm like,
it's not my nose for me. It's my throat in those situations. But okay, so yesterday,
yes,
we watched KSI Temper fight Misfits 4.
yes.
Watched the whole event. Me, Freddie, and you. You missed the first fight and a half.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. What was your favorite fight of the night?
I would say, I think if I was there, I would like the first one. But the ones that I was that I watched, I would say it would have been Slim and Tom. The ones right before JJ. Which JJ's was like good, but like it ended so quick. I would have to, because the other one lasted all 4 rounds. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because they were both like giving their all. You could tell they were tired. You could tell it was a close match.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Definitely. I like the whole event.
They were all pretty good fights.
The fights I've watched with them and the events I've watched with them, I haven't been disappointed. Like, this company has been popping off when it comes to boxing events. And all of them are super entertaining. The people they have on, it's not like a normal boxing thing, so it's not necessarily always super professional. People do some crazy shit. And but they always do really well, and the fights are super entertaining, the ones they end up getting.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, there was, I think... How many fights? 7? 7 fights. I'm counting. 1. I know how to count. 1, 2.
Oh, what rounds they ended?
No. 3 or 4 KOs, and then like two.
I was so confused at what you were talking about.
2 TKOs, right, between the Faith girl, because it was like a technical knockout, and then she didn't get knocked out, and it was that I think would that be considered a TKO? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I think so.
And that was Swarms, and it wasn't Anthony Taylor, was it? It was someone else.
I don't know.
But
I don't know. I didn't know some of them.
Interesting overall. First fight, great. A lot of stuff going on. Dude got pissed, but got beat hands down. Next fight, girls, Faith and Ellie Brooks or something, and
scrappy.
Went all out. Scrap. No technique. Bloody noses, marked up within a minute. Everybody's bleeding. They call it because the one girl was just not defending and getting head slammed.
Oh, yeah.
Like crazy.
And she was pissed. And then she made that apology, or that video, not apology. She made that video later. I know I just didn't keep my composure. I'm like, okay.
And then third fight was Swarms. Yeah. Swarms, another guy. Swarms caused an orbital fracture.
Yes.
And that ended the fight within the first minute, and it was just one clean jab right to the upper eye. You could see
it, like immediate swelling. He was arguing with his coach, being like, "Dude, I can't see. There's pain in my back of my head." And the coach was like, "Get out there."
Yeah, and he's like, "Nope."
Yeah.
He's like, "Not in a circumstance like this." So I don't blame him. I really don't.
The fourth fight was the mystery fight.
Yeah, and that was
fighter.
Pineda and that one TikToker, I don't know his name.
I don't know either.
Good fight. Pineda actually fought, surprisingly, compared to his last one with JJ, and it was actually a good fight. And the kid survived, and he was taking blows.
He was taking blow after blow, but like he was there for all. What did they have? 3 rounds?
It might have been 3, 3 or 4.
I think they were 3, and he wasn't bleeding like nothing,
No.
but he was taking him to the face left and right.
Then after that was Salt Poppy and Josh
Bruckner.
And I told you and Freddie, I was like, he's
so
gonna
sad
get
for Josh.
fucked up. Dude's knocked out every opponent he's been with, and he did it again. And it was so clean. Of left hook. It really was. Left hook sent him on the ground.
I just felt so bad. I knew, like, just from, like, them, like, going around and giving, like, behind the scenes, I guess, of them warming up. And, like, you could tell he was punching hard. And, like, he had some swing, like, some power in his swing. Because he was, like, pushing, like, his coach that was holding the pads and shit. But I was hoping.
I told you. And then the second to last fight, the co-main event, was Slim v.
Tommy something.
Tom something. It was his first professional fight. Tom's. Slim's won, I think, every fight he's been in professionally at this point. Amazing fight. Slim won, which I had
by only a few points, but it was.
The other guy was just bigger, and he was swinging like crazy in the first round.
He was gassed.
He's going nuts, wearing himself out. By the end of it, they were both done, and they wanted out of the ring. They were
like at the
tired.
last 20 seconds, they both just like kind of pretended to like go for each other, and they were just kind of standing there because they were exhausted.
Exactly, and it was an amazing fight though, super entertaining because you're like every time.
Because it was like a toss up. I thought between.
It was close. It was very close. And the thing was, Slim, part of the reason why he did so well was some of his dodging. His dodging was on point because there was so many punches and especially right hooks that Tom was throwing. And I was watching them, and I was like,
you could tell they had some.
If those connected right now, he would be in big trouble. But he was good at getting out of the line of fire like every time. He'd go in, try getting a few hits, and then get out and dodge it. And it worked. It was ridiculous what was going on. And in the last fight, the main event was KSI and Faze Temper. And I was curious to see what happened or what was going to happen. It was the 6th round.
It was 50 seconds left in the first round.
Yeah. So it was 6 3-minute rounds. It's going to be the longest fight of the night, technically. And I was kind of hoping it was going to go the distance a little bit because I was like, I want to be a little entertained. I want to see kind of what JJ could do. He still brought it, and he connected a clean 1-2 right to the jaw, and he knocked Temper on his ass.
Yeah. He fell back, and his eyes rolled up in his head.
It was...
Tried to get up a couple times and stumbled and fell back down.
And it does show that he has gotten a lot better and actually has more skill and technique than he used to, for sure. And that actually showed his technique a lot more than the other 2 fights he had this year or last year. So I am kind of curious to see what happens right now.
With that, who is he gonna, or did he shook on fighting in May?
I can't remember his name. Jeff something, I thought.
He flew out from
Josh?
Jeff. He flew out from Miami to make him sign a deal. I just want him to beat the fuck out of Logan Paul.
And he was not Logan.
Or I meant Jake, not Logan.
Yeah.
I meant Jake.
And the other guy was a big dude too. I was like, look, that might be an interesting fight. But at this point, there's word that possibly the KSI Jake Paul fight
he mentioned it in
might
the fight
be happening
was
at the end of this year. So it might be in December. And if it is,
I'll be home.
It's going to be one of the largest influencer boxing fights of all time. It will be massive. And if those two are together, he's gotten better than he used to be, though.
Still,
honestly,
I think he's an arrogant.
I saw a clip. I saw a clip of him back in the day, and I was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
I was like, I would definitely prefer him now than then. But I know what you mean, but with a fight like that and being so big, the card that's going to be lined up on there, if they bring Slim again, they bring Salt Poppy, 2 really good fighters that they've had. If they bring in some other really good people, that event will
Hopefully
be amazing.
I'll be home from break at that point, and I can watch it. If it's in December, I'll be here. But...
I already told Freddie, I was like, if that's happening, we are watching it. Like, that would be an amazing fight to watch.
Yeah.
And it's something that's technically been building now for like 4 years. So it is pretty insane.
And I know Logan said he like wanted to
He's
stay
just
out of
gonna
it, but
stay.
like that has to be like a little weird, you know, business
It
partner
is.
and like friend against
No,
your brother.
yeah, of course it is. Like what are you supposed to do?
Like
But
when
hey,
he's just there,
are
he
you
sits
gonna-
like in the middle
But are
between
you-
the
are
two,
you-
and then
it's
like
like
whoever
your
wins
brother
is just
or the guy that you just made $110 million in revenue with in 1 year.
like, I don't know.
I mean, you gotta. I wouldn't pick a side either, because at this point, him and JJ are like best friends,
Yeah.
and so it is what it is on that one. It's just kind of like, well, shit. Just kind of gotta chill and let it watch, and just see what happens, and no matter what, someone's gonna win. So
Yep.
unless it ends up in a draw, like Logan.
It better not be a fucking draw. That shit was stupid.
Got a second fight though.
Make more money.
Yeah. But it was really cool to see. One of the things that during the fight that was interesting was JJ's outfit.
I liked it.
Pink and white.
I thought it was really good.
The reason was for their new Prime flavor that they just released this week. And it was strawberry watermelon Prime hydration. And not only that, but at the beginning of the year, 2 weeks ago, they released Prime Energy. And I was able to get my hands on 3 of those. And finally got Ice Pop, just by coincidence.
How many flavors do they have of the energy drinks out?
5.
5?
So it's orange, lemon lime, strawberry watermelon, tropical punch, and then blue raspberry.
And you got
Orange, red,
lime.
and green.
So you got
But
3 out of 5.
I got my hands on one of those. I got a Prime strawberry watermelon. Just happened to come across it, and the guy happened to have it at GNC. I also got 3 bottles of the energy drinks to try. The first one I tried was lemon lime.
It was good.
It was really good. And then I also have had the Ice Pop now.
That was amazing.
It tastes exactly like the red, white, and blue popsicles that we grew up on. I was like, this is the exact same shit. Even when you open the bottle, you're
You
like,
can smell it.
that looks right. Like,
Yeah.
even the color, you're like, that's what the white is from the popsicle. Like, that's it. And so I thought we would go ahead and try the flavor, since JJ was repping the collars, trying to promote it. We'll kind of see what happens. Definitely very watermelon-y. That's good. I don't even know. Oh, you gotta try it. That's good. Wow, I've never had anything that's strawberry and watermelon.
It smells good.
It reminds me of a Go-Gurt almost. I don't know if that sounds weird, but you kind of know what I'm saying. That's pretty good.
That watermelon like little gum that they used to throw at you at like in parades when you were a kid. That's kind of what this tastes like.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Like the watermelon gum that Dad eats sometimes.
The watermelon double bubble or bubble. What?
Yeah.
Double
Kinda.
Trubba. What? Double Bubba. It's good.
Yeah, it really is. Or like, you know, the is it what? Juicy fruit watermelon gum that Dad eats or chews?
I don't know.
I don't
These
know.
guys are amazing.
It reminds me of something, but I can't put my finger on it.
I don't know how these guys seem to keep getting it right. Like,
all the flavors I've tried were good.
The energy drink, amazing. The product itself is amazing. Is it overpriced? A little bit. But hey, like, their goal is to make money, make enough money to basically be like, yo, Coke, we're doing so well. How much you want to offer to buy the company?
Oh, really?
Oh, that's definitely their end goal, is to get to the point kind of like vitamin water and get bought by like Coca-Cola for like $6 billion or some shit and buy the company out from them. I mean, it happened just, was that last year or 2 years ago now? That might have been the beginning of this year or last year. And Activision, the ones that make Call of Duty and all those games, got bought by Microsoft for $70 billion.
Damn.
I
Wow.
think that's their goal. Because vitamin water was started by, if I remember correctly, 50 Cent. And he's like, yeah, like, why doesn't someone, like, do something, like, different? Like, he's like, look at all these regular waters, and you can get real cheap water for, like, 50 cents for a gallon, or you can get some waters for, like, $2. He's like, that's so different. Like, how is water worth so much? What could you do to make water with something a little different, but be able to make a fuck ton off of it? And he came up with vitamin water. So you're able to sell basically a bottled water with flavors and some electrolytes and vitamins in it. Very cheap, low overhead, and you're selling them for $2.50 a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of money real quick. And he ended up selling out to Coke. I think I don't know if Coca-Cola would get them, or maybe, let's say, Gatorade bought them or something. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. And then speaking of things that are kind of blowing up in the numbers, Avatar 2 is almost at the 5th most grossing movie ever. Like, it keeps working its way up and is pushing $2 billion, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's been what?
Easily number one movie of last year.
How long since it's been out?
A month.
I was gonna say it hasn't
Just about
even
a month.
been that, like, 2.
Mm-hmm. And it broke records by hitting $1 billion in 14 days, like, at the time. So it's definitely the best movie of last year, easily. Any big movie that got released that I'm aware of, best one. And it just keeps going. But speaking of people that's been in very big movies, Jeremy Renner, what's his name? Jeremy Renner, the guy that got ran over.
I saw a post on his Instagram where he
Pretty
posts, like,
sure.
thanks everybody for praying for me, and, like, his face is...
Well, I heard and saw something the other day. I'm pretty sure they have to amputate.
Probably. So his career in the acting, at least with Marvel, is done. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he can probably still
possibly. I mean, it's probably still possible, but I don't know what they would do. Yeah, he got in basically a plowing accident with a snowcat, and we think that our best guesses of people that's been around electric equipment before, because we know what's going on. We think that it was still in gear and didn't realize it, or it started rolling, or it was in neutral, and he tried climbing back in. You walk onto the tracks to get on, and the tracks started moving, and he ended up fell off and then getting ran over by the machine.
It was like over half of his body was ran over it. Like, his
face
was mangled, and we
portion.
know the leg.
I don't know if his face got hurt.
It was all messed up in the picture that he had.
So something happened, but that could have just been maybe like
from falling. I don't know.
Either that, or if it was on him, maybe kind of rolling his body and like rubbing it into the concrete. I don't know.
Concrete? He was on snow.
Road. He was on a road, but it wasn't like in the grass. But luckily, they basically said that probably one of the reasons why he's alive was one of the neighbors nearby was a doctor and applied a tourniquet.
Hi, Bubba.
Are you gonna?
Are you awake?
Hey, no, we ain't talking to you. Are you gonna podcast bomb me again? You literally attacked me. You assaulted me on last week's episode. You put your paw up to my throat and said, "Listen here, bitch. You need to watch what you're doing, all right? Otherwise, I might send you back to wherever you came from." I don't know where that was. So do you listen to many podcasts?
back down he goes. No.
Well, you're
I'm really not on Spotify or YouTube or anything like ever.
Yeah, I know.
I think mainly the only time I get on Spotify is when I'm driving home or back to school. And then occasionally in the shower, I'll listen to music. But a lot of times I don't because I'll have 3 roommates and I don't know what they're doing most of the time and I don't want to be too loud. And all of my roommates listen to music in the shower and they blare it. So, out of respect, I don't.
You want to know what might make me depressing in 40 years? People getting brain tumors from AirPods. That'd be so sad. Because I wear AirPods like 24/7 at work. And I get like brain cancer.
It's windy out there.
From like Bluetooth. That's that.
Oh. That happened the last time too. Jesus hell.
But intrusive thoughts. But that would suck, right? But no, I was listening to a podcast where this guy is a geopolitical strategist, and his book's called The End of the World.
It's the end
oh,
of
what
the
is
world
it? But
as
it's
we know it.
I'm listening to this guy and I'm like, I need to read this dude's book. He was talking about how, in all reality, Russia and China, and the way we know the economic system globally today, is probably going to disappear within the next 20 years.
Repeat that. What'd you say? Russia and China, what?
And the way that the economic world is structured globally right now will probably disappear within the next 20 years and go back to something closer to the early 19th century, 20th century.
Why?
Just because of political ties and how things are nowadays. And also with a possible fall of Russia eventually. Because the political structure, once Putin's gone, there's really no one to replace him because of how he's ran things. Things have been ran so terribly that it's just kind of going downhill. The population's in decline. There's more people in their 60s than there are in every decade below combined.
I did not know that.
And that eventually they're just going to die out and lose most of their population. And then he was like, the war in Ukraine was basically guaranteed. And there's a reason why they attacked when they did. 2022 was one of the last main years for their largest amount of young, able-bodied men in this generation.
For Russia?
And that's why they were like, if we're going to do anything,
you have to do it now.
Now's the time. So he was talking about some interesting stuff, and then he was talking about stuff with China and how, oh man, what like it was all sorts of stuff. But he's like China is leading obesity more than we are, which I never thought about.
I never.
I mean,
would have thought.
I'm not saying we're fucking okay.
No.
Holy shit. The childhood obesity just keeps going up. I saw something the other day that they're now trying to work on authenticating and allowing medical operations for children, like possible surgery,
weight loss, like
or
surgery,
pills to help with child obesity. And I'm like, when lifestyle changes don't work, and I was like, if the lifestyle changes aren't working, something else is fucking wrong. Doesn't mean you need to take a fucking pill or get surgery to lose weight. There's other shit, or they're not actually changing their lifestyle, because I think it's like almost 70% of kids are technically considered obese, ages like 12 and above, in the United States, and it's gone up over the past 3 years because of COVID. And a bunch of shit.
I was obese my entire life. Basically from middle school up.
Yeah.
Probably even before.
Bro, I remember when I was like,
probably from like 4th grade up. I would have been in the obese.
No, not obese. Overweight.
Yeah, because if you like read all the fucking textbooks they make you read in health class, if you're over 5 pounds of what they say you're supposed to be, you're considered obese. You're not overweight.
It's not that close.
Brett, that's literally.
We've also talked about this. You can't listen to the medical standards because it's not a universal thing. Joe Rogan's considered obese.
That's true.
So
I'm just saying, but like from what the schools tell you,
that's what
when
I'm
you're
saying.
reading the book,
You can't use BMI. You can't use shit like that. Body fat percentage is the best way on an individual basis, but also to get a good reading on that, that's not super easy either. But it just depends on the person. But in general, things have gone up. But he was talking about how like in China, they have more like a higher percentage of the population is diabetic than the United States. How basically if they weren't able to purchase food from Russia in certain situations, that within almost a year, uh, like 100 million people could die from famine because they just don't have food for the amount of people they have. They purchase so much from the outside world, and the only person they could rely on to service them in case Russia falls and when Russia falls is us. And the likelihood of us being like, oh yeah, we got you guys, considering our past with them and how they are, and they're always coming at us more. They come at us more than we go at them, I feel like. And it'd be like, and most of the shit that they're always talking about of how like, oh, we're doing so well, we're planning for the next 50 years, these are our big goals, China's amazing, best country in the world. All of that's propaganda, and they're actually struggling in a lot of ways, and they're just trying to look good on the outside. I guess labor's gone up in China, so it's not the cheapest place to actually get labor anymore. So industry is moving out of there. They only focus on memorization skills. There's not actually skilled labor there. No one knows how to actually do anything. They're just smart when it comes to memorizing shit and like stuff. Then also they steal more IP, intellectual property, but they don't have people that actually know how to fucking use it and do stuff. They can't make semiconductors anymore. Their plants are down because of certain tariffs and bans on what gets sent over to China now and shit. They're not doing as hot as they like to let on, and I was very interested. I was like, I find that fascinating. One of the things the guy also talked about with like Russia and Ukraine and stuff was that Russia knows this, that there was an analysis done comparing military forces, that if NATO and Russia went to war, for every one soldier we would lose, NATO as a whole, Russia would lose 1,000. That's how outmatched they are when it comes to military capabilities and training. And it makes sense because at this point, the numbers of possible deaths now are already roughly 100,000 people have died. Russians have died on the lines, and there hasn't. Real quick, guys, now that I got your attention for one moment, please consider subscribing, commenting, and liking down below. Follow on all different platforms. Follow the other channels. Go subscribe to them. Trying to grow the clips and shorts channels. Anything else?
Subscribe, like, and comment.
Yes. Go on Spotify. Listen to it on Spotify if you guys don't want to listen to it on YouTube. Whatever. I'll see you guys all later. Let's get back into the podcast. He was saying this conflict isn't going to go anywhere soon because they don't pull out of a fight until at least they've lost 500,000. And that's the only thing that has actually got them anywhere in the past. Has just been throwing numbers. They've never had military superiority. It's just been a numbers game for them. And it's just throwing bodies at the issue.
That is crazy.
It's interesting. It really is. And I think for what he said, that it's going to get the most interesting right now in the war in May. Because new troops from Ukraine that have been trained in other NATO countries and are actually military equipped and had training are then being shipped in. So they'll get I think it was 60,000 trained troops coming into the country. And at that point, I think Russia will probably have another mobilization, and it might be another 100,000. But 100,000 Russians to 60,000 trained and equipped Ukrainians is going to be a big difference. If it wasn't, I think they were also surprised that Ukraine did so well in the beginning. Ukraine
Yeah.
actually held their own. And I think that they thought that for some reason they were going to be like, yeah, I remember being a part of Russia. Like, I want to go back. I miss you guys. Like, yeah, no. They're like, we're Ukrainian. We ain't Russian no more.
Yeah.
And I think that surprised a lot of them. And it's a big deal. It's kind of crazy because it's kind of gone on in the background now for the past couple months. Like, have you heard anything?
Nope.
The media stopped.
This is why I hate the media.
Doesn't make money anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy. In his book, I was like, it's like, end of the world, that's not fun. But he's like, it's more like end of the world as we know it. Like how things are structured, things are going to be changing. And he basically said that our biggest allies when it comes to economics and politically, probably in the next 50 years, is going to be Mexico. Because right now they technically have the cheapest skilled labor force. And so it's like if we move industry to Mexico instead, that's a lot cheaper than going to China. And it's close. And we already have a pretty good connection with them. There's a lot of Hispanics and Mexicans here that, like, we're almost like cousins when it comes to countries. For a border country, we have a lot of back and forth. And he's like, they're probably going to be our most useful allies in the next 40, 50 years. It's like, interesting. It was like he said between like them, Japan, UK, like,
Yeah.
never would guess. I was like, I didn't when I first didn't hear her. Sorry, I've never heard of the guy. Nothing. Decided to listen to this podcast and he started getting into it, and I was like, this is fascinating. Would recommend. But I was gonna use your phone.
I was wondering where that was.
Here, there was something I saw the other day that I wanted to kind of show you and show the audience that I read about. And it's some of the projects that supposedly Saudi Arabia wants to do over the next, like, 40 years. So you know how, like, you know the story of Abu Dhabi and Dubai and how it's become, like, one of the largest tourist cities in the world and one of the most wealthiest cities now. And it's a very wealthy country, but it was running out of money because, or not money, it was running out of oil. Originally, it's a small country, made billions, trillions from oil. They were going to run out of oil, I think, projected in 2012, and that's why in the early 2000s they started working on creating like the Palm Islands and doing like the man-made islands and doing all this stuff to build tourism so they could change their economic system on how they would make their money. And now it's worked for them. If you look at a picture from the mid to late 90s of Dubai to now, it doesn't even feel like it's the same country. Like, ridiculous.
Drastically different.
And let's just say that dang it, I can't use your phone.
Why?
The account's private. I didn't realize it was. Shit, so I can't read it, but I'll talk about it at least. So basically, I've seen that Saudi Arabia is wanting to do something very similar in the sense of they got a lot of money. They want to try doing some major projects to try bringing more people and be a bigger hub for things. And there's 3 big projects that they want to work on that will cost, I think it was like $500 billion, which honestly I felt like was lowballing it considering what the projects are. But one of them was called the Octagon, and it was a port city that goes partially, it's a half port city that's basically on the ocean, half connected to the land, that will be futuristic factories, ports, like automatic, non-human, like robot building systems, like using AI a little bit and doing some stuff. Very futuristic port city, basically to send and ship stuff a lot easier and be a giant connection globally with that. That was one of the projects. Another one, I can't remember what it was called, was a mountain resort where they want to make a giant man-made reservoir. And literally the pictures and renders of, I don't know if this is actually what it's going to look like look like almost a boat coming out of the mountain. But imagine a giant ship, concrete walls, and that's a reservoir, man-made dam, and basically build a giant reservoir in the mountains and make a big ski resort and ski slopes and nature preserves and all this crazy stuff for like wealthy individuals and shit. And then their biggest project, which is probably the most crazy, is called The Line. And it's 2 parallel skyscrapers as tall as the Empire State Building that will run 110 miles long. 2 continual buildings.
Oh my God.
And it will be a city that can house supposedly up to 9 million people. And part of it's like in the middle of the desert, so the outside will look like a wall. It's going to look like, or like a glass wall. It's going to be like futuristic as shit. They're going to be close together where there's going to be like gardens in between the 2 giant buildings following the whole thing. There's not going to be any cars. There's going to be highway train systems or high-speed train systems, and it said flying taxis, and I was like, what exactly does that mean? But okay. And all this shit, and with how it would be structured, basically anything you would need within 5 minutes away.
Wow.
And they've already technically broke ground on this project, trying to level out the land, and you see a photo of it, and it's like by how high this photo is, and you're looking at these big excavators and dump trucks, and it's like, I know how big those dump trucks are, so that just shows how big this base is that they're trying to clear out, and you're like, holy shit. The idea, I don't know when exactly these projects would be done. Like, it might be 20, 30 years down the road before some of this is finished. Because, I mean, Dubai and Palm Islands took like 6 years more. And Dubai changed a lot from our childhood to now. And so it's like the Burj Khalifa took how long? And it's the tallest building in the world, and it's ridiculous. And it's like, holy shit. So like, they want to do similar shit to that. And I'm like, holy fuck. If they do something like that, it's wild. And I was looking at the renders and stuff, and I was just like, 110 mile long building.
That is insane.
Imagine that. That would be like, that would almost be a building from here to your school. Right? Because how far? Yeah, I mean, that'd probably be close.
I was farther than that.
Hey, wait. We'll look.
Because I'm on one road for almost 100 miles.
Yeah, but straight line. I'm saying straight line. But like, when you think of like here to Brown County is like 80.
That's true.
80 miles. So
that's fucking insane.
Yeah. Let me just. Vincennes is 130 miles away.
Right? And you said this is going to be 100 and what?
Oh, wait, no. 171. My bad. That's a lot different. But.
And you said this is going to be
110.
Damn.
So maybe more like from here to.
Terre Haute?
That's what I was thinking. Let me look. 120. So close to almost here to Terre Haute. That's how long this building will be.
That is freaking insane.
And as tall as the Empire State Building. Ridiculous.
All glass?
Probably on the outside, yeah. Wild. Like, first when I read this, I was like, what is this? And then I started reading the whole thing. I was like, holy shit. and it's already been okayed by their prince or whatever and all this shit. I mean, they're like one of the wealthier countries in the world, literally sitting on trillions of dollars in oil. So it's pretty ridiculous, but it's just like, that's fucking nuts.
Insane. That's going to become a spot that everyone and their mama wants to go to.
Oh, 100%. I know Egypt's trying to do something similar. I know that they're trying to move the capital. I watched like a 20-minute video. I'm such a nerd when it comes to certain things. I really am. But I saw something. This was a while ago. that they're trying to, because Cairo apparently is kind of a mess. It's chaotic. It's an old city. Certain things have popped up over the years, kind of outskirts, and it's very unorganized and has never had one big plan, pretty much. And then also a lot of the government buildings are spread across the entire city. So it's like DC, everything's basically right there within a mile. Theirs, it's like everywhere. To try getting to the other buildings might take you hours.
Yeah.
And depending on like traffic and stuff. So basically, I think one of the reasons why they're trying to do this is basically trying to relocate all these major official buildings too, but they want to move all this out away from Cairo, a little out to the desert, make a different city, and just have these giant, massive buildings. Some of them bringing back up some Egyptian architecture, like build obelisks and like giant reflective pools and stuff to be like really with the culture as well. Build these giant gardens and build a man-made river and all sorts of stuff that goes through here. A giant like soccer stadium, like one of the largest buildings in the world. They want to try building one of the largest skyscrapers and like basically develop one of the biggest buildings and most popular and modern cities in the world eventually. And I don't know necessarily when they're starting on this, if it's already been started on, because there were some renders that the guy was pointing out and kind of the game plan in the video. They've probably already broke ground, but it's like I don't know when necessarily this would be done, but they probably said, but it's been a while since I watched the video.
Yeah.
But it's like that would be somewhere else that eventually would be like, shit, you want to visit there because that would be ridiculous to see. Just kind of like Dubai is. Like, I go to Dubai just to look around. It's ridiculous. The weather, like, it's warm, it's hot, sunny, like, never rains or snows. It'd be ridiculous to go see. And it's just, it's wild when those countries have that much money to just be like, let's do this. And then I thought about it. It's like, why doesn't our country do any big projects like that? Like, I was like, think about it. When was the last big national project? And I guess you could say, what, the Hoover Dam? I would say big national project would be the highway system.
That's what I was gonna say, but they're constantly working on that shit, never ending.
Well, I just watched a video 2 weeks ago of I-9 or I-70. Or 69, not 70, which runs through our state, and how it's been. I didn't know this. It's been like a 60-year project.
Yeah.
And the whole point was trying to make a more centralized north-south road, basically from roughly the Midwest and Detroit and certain areas closer to us, that would work its way south towards Texas and Mexico. And there's so many places throughout the route that hasn't been finished or there wasn't funding. Like, technically, I didn't know this, 69 doesn't cross Evansville. It doesn't cross Ohio because they never got contracts with Kentucky to actually build the bridge. So technically, if you go I-69, it turns off of I-69 to the regular state road to cross that one bridge. And then eventually you get back on I-69.
I guess I never knew that.
And like a bunch of stuff. And I was like, we really suck at shit like this. And the thing is, I think that's part of the problem in certain instances is like it's a national project, but then it gets relied on the states. And then when states want to do things differently, that becomes an issue because it's like two different groups butting heads on a project. And it's like, well, fuck, nothing's going to get done. So I'm like, maybe that's why we don't have big projects like that, because no one could agree.
No one agree.
Because it'd be like if someone did something like that now, like let's say, well, we want to build a 110-mile long building city, and the government decides to do that. It'd be like, where do you put it? What state gets that city? Because it's like it's different with how our shit's structured in the U.S., where it's like it would benefit that state a whole lot. Not necessarily the I mean, it would benefit the country as a whole, but it would benefit that state the majority because it'd bring billions and I feel like they put it somewhere on the
like the
it would probably be something on like there wouldn't. I
don't know.
Yeah.
It probably.
And also the U.S. is just so big.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But it's just it's wild to even think of something like that because it's like that doesn't make sense for the U.S. But also it'd be like that'd be so cool if we did something like that. Like I'd be like, I want something that like everyone around the world wants to come see.
Yeah.
We don't have one of those besides New York itself. Like a lot of people around the world's like, I want to go to New York City. Like,
yeah,
because like New York City is a thing, or even see LA. But it's like there's not like the Grand Canyon, and that's the thing. The U.S. is so big that there's so much you can go see, but there's not like a thing that we did that's like that's cool. Like you got the Eiffel Tower. I guess you got Statue of Liberty. It's technically the French built that one too. Great Wall of China. Like you got that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Tokyo is kind of its own thing where it's like, I just want to go see Tokyo because Tokyo is wild. I feel like England, it's London too. Like it's like London as a whole. It's like, oh, you got the palaces, you got Big Ben, you got this and that. I really don't know any like Egypt, you got Giza, you got the pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're literally trying to build basically their own landmarks, which is kind of crazy. And that's what Abu Dhabi did. Like everybody's like Palm Islands, like that's ridiculous. I want to come see these giant man-made islands. And you're off the coast by however far, and all this was not there 20 years ago. And you're on a sand island that they built, and you're sitting in one of the largest hotels in the world with the world's largest aquarium over an ocean. And it's like the main city is like all the way over there. Like there's the skyline. It's like, holy shit. It's like no other countries have done something like that. I guess that's what happens when you get oil money. You just go nuts.
I guess.
Ridiculous. Absolutely nuts. What would you do if you could make a large project?
I have no idea. I've never
Are you an architect?
It. No.
Come on.
I can't even draw a stick figure. You think I'm going to like draw out plans to build something? Hell no.
What would be something you would try to do to make more people? A lot of people already visit America. Maybe we don't need the help. No one wants to go to Saudi Arabia. It's just a desert. Maybe that's why they're doing it. There's so many places you could go to the U.S. You could go to Miami, New York, L.A., Seattle, Texas. There's so many, Chicago. There's so many different options where it's like you go to Saudi Arabia. It's like you got like one city and then like 90% of the country's fucking sand.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do there? Look at it? So maybe that's why they're like, oh shit, tourism isn't a thing for us. Let's make it a thing. That's probably why. A little bit. So, and they just have extra money sitting around. So like, fuck it, let's do these. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
For the most part. But, what city would you want to visit in the U.S.?
City?
Yeah, city, I guess. I know. City? I know you're a country girl. I don't like city. Big city, no. Big city bad.
I literally hate you. I don't know.
You're really helping the conversation.
I never really thought about it. Not LA. LA would be my last option.
Yep.
What would yours be? I don't think mine would be New York either.
Mine would probably be New York. Probably New York or
Dallas, Texas.
New York or Austin. Oh, or Denver.
I've heard good things someplace in Texas.
But I'm not a city guy either. But
I don't know.
I wouldn't go to the state.
I don't think I ever think about it because I don't like traveling.
Why?
Because I get car sick and then like I don't like.
If we go somewhere next year, what
places.
are you gonna do? I'm gonna pump you full of Benadryl or some shit before we get on the airplane.
I haven't been on a plane.
Oh, you're gonna freak the fuck out. You're that type, aren't you?
I don't think so. I think I would just have to take like medication. Like,
Yeah.
I would be afraid that I'd get motion sick.
Oh, that.
But
Are
other
you sure
than
you
that,
won't freak out?
I don't think so.
I'm the motherfucker that's like,
Security will freak me the fuck out.
Why?
I wouldn't know what to do.
just walk.
Like anything in
tell
the
you what to
airport
do.
freaks me out.
It's
Like
so
I
easy.
wouldn't even know what to do. I'd be like,
You get in line.
or how to pack a bag. I don't know. I'd be
Don't-
like, is this allowed? Is this too big of a size? Am I
No
not allowed
water.
to do this?
No water. No liquids. It's that simple.
You're not a girl. Like
What do you got?
there's like rules with like makeup and shit like that, or like
Yeah,
face
it can't
wash.
be too big.
I don't know the sizes.
Like, I think it's 2.5 ounces.
Is it all 3 ounces?
I think it's under 2. It's like, it has to be 2.5 or less.
That's like crazy. I don't know. Just stuff like that.
And then
freaks
just take
me
a
out.
carry-on in a backpack. Never check a bag if you don't have to. Because that's where you lose shit and you don't get your stuff.
Yeah, I
and it
know,
costs
but
extra.
I wouldn't know how to pack.
And it makes the whole airport experience
That's why I
more,
feel like I'd have to get like packing cubes so it can like help me
You are
be
so...
organized.
You're that motherfucker. I'm just like, got it. What am I going to need?
You're also a guy. You can just go and be like, I can wear one pair of pants and shirts for a week.
No, I don't do that. I don't do that either. But I'm like, I'm like, when I pack my stuff to go out to work, and it's like, all right, for the backpack, it's like, what might I need when I'm at the airport? Neck pillow, possibility.
Blanket.
Sleep mask, yeah. Water bottle, chargers.
I thought you just said you
Like-
can't have a water bottle.
You can buy one after you get through security. Cash, so like stuff in there that I'll need while I'm on
But
the flight.
do you take a book bag and then you take a small
Carry
suitcase?
on? Yeah, small suitcase.
So
That's
you
what you
get
put
two
above
carries
you.
on? Two carries on? Two
Carry
carries
on.
on?
Technically,
What the fuck am I saying?
backpack doesn't count as carry on.
What is it then?
A backpack, because you can throw that under your seat, so you don't have to put that above in the compartment.
But does your carry-on and your backpack both have to be? I know. Is it your carry-on under 50?
carry on has to. No, it's not a weight thing necessarily, because it hopefully shouldn't fucking weigh that much. But carry on just goes above. Is the shit that goes above your seat. But if you have a backpack and shit, that's just your personal items, so you get to hold on to that, and then you're just supposed to have it under a seat especially when they're taking off or landing. You're supposed to have it slid up under the seats. But it's like, I had never been across the country. I hopped on that plane like it was no problem. I was like,
Yeah, you're the type of person that I could not.
I was just, and also for
And
me,
where
I get
you-
on a plane and I'm like, I mean, I don't want to die in a plane accident, but if it happens, what the fuck am I gonna do about it? So I'm not gonna complain or freak out. I'm just gonna sit there, watch. What did I watch on my way out there this year? Watch the new Ghostbusters movie and laugh at Paul Rudd. That's it. Maybe take a nap. Listen to a podcast. Look out the window. What else?
Unless
am I
you're the
supposed to
middle
do?
seat.
No, I never picked the middle.
I could never be in the middle seat.
Unless I was with someone I knew. If it was like me and someone else, or me and 3 people, and we were in an aisle, yeah, that's no big deal. I'd be like, I'm gonna lay on you. Like, if we take a boys trip, try getting me, Kelvin, Freddie, I'll be in the middle. I'll just lay on Freddie. Like, come here,
God.
boys. It's time to take a nap.
I'd lay on the floor if I could.
No, that's not allowed.
I know, but that's so annoying.
And then no one likes, some people don't like plain small talk. Luckily, I the people I've been with don't. So I'm just like, cool, I'll just do my thing. Typically people sleep or do whatever, but it's not bad. It's fun. You gotta travel. My mom was I don't know if I told you this. Grandma was like, well, why don't you go to Rock Boat with my mom? And I was like, I wouldn't be against it, but he's like, well, he already turned me down when I invited him when Shannon went. And I'm like, I was 14. You think I wanted to go with my mom and uncle on a boat for 6 days listening to music I don't know? No. And I couldn't drink.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible sober. And I'm like, I wouldn't be against it
your
now
mommy?
because I feel like I would keep up with my mom's like, I'm so lost. What do I do? I'd just be like, where are you going? All right, I'm on your tail, bitch. Like, I'm just going to wherever you go. He might not like that, but I'd be like,
No,
"That's
because
what I'm
he would
doing."
always tell mom, go to your and mom wouldn't know what to do because mom didn't know anybody. And he
and
did, and he
I
would like
probably
leave her.
I might just make friends. If I found out that there was someone and I listened to their music there and I was like, oh, I like these people, I'm gonna go there. I might just bullshit with people that's there listening to the music because I enjoy it. So if they enjoy it, we'll like each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love going to concerts, because you're there for a like-minded reason. You're already there and you're like, I love listening to this guy's music, and you're like, me too, I'm there too. So it's like you don't even gotta like bullshit. It's not like, what do you like, and you like rattling a list off and like, oh, I like that as well. It's already obvious at least one thing you enjoy. So it makes it easier to connect to that person. That's why I enjoy concerts, because you could bump into anybody at a concert and everybody's there to have a good time and enjoy the music that's being played. So nobody's necessarily in a bad mood. Not saying some people don't get in a bad mood after they get drunk, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's typically just good vibes. That's why I like concerts, is because of that. It's just fun.
Yeah.
I think that's why my does too, honestly. He likes that communal thing. Probably time to go to bed. But all right, well, I think I talked to your guys' ear off this week. Bailey's been... Were you a guest, or did I just talk at you for most of it?
You talked at me, but I'm
That's
used
normal.
to it. It's normal. Yeah, very true.
Well, I don't know if this is mean, but I mean, sometimes... Well, no, because depending on the situation, you tell me to like, shut the fuck up and let me talk. And I'm like... And then there's times I don't get any words in. I'm just like, I'm listening.
Feel my pain.
So I can't say much because the same thing happens to me every now and again. And then I'm just sit there and I just have to like listen. And then I'll like try putting input. And you're like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but 98% of the time it's you doing that to me. So.
Well, who's
that 2% you can...
Who's bringing up the cool shit that talks about stuff? I can keep rambling. What do? You're like, fish sticks.
I'm not a rambler. I've never been a rambler.
Exactly.
You have since the day you came out of the womb.
So, yeah, me asking you what city you want to go to. You're like,
I don't know.
City?
I don't think about these things.
Where do I go? Ooh.
Why are you doing a grandma voice?
Because your brain's old.
It is, okay? It's old and tired.
And then I'm over here like...
It's ready to...
Thinking about AirPods giving me brain tumors out of nowhere. That's how my brain works. You know it is. I have spaghetti brain.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yes. What do you rate it? Out of 10.
I would probably give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Oh, really? Like, it's good, but I wouldn't rate it that out of all the primes, because I don't think it'd be my favorite.
I don't think I actually might like the icy one better.
I'd probably throw this at like a good 8. 7,
I think I would at least
7,
give it.
5,
I would
8.
give it a 9.
Because it's good, but I don't know, like, this would be my go-to if I had the other ones available.
I really can't remember the ones that I've had, like, what they taste like right now.
Okay. Well, all right. So as a wrap-up conclusion, hopefully JJ fucks up Jake Paul by the end of the year. Prime's tasty. Bailey likes Game of Thrones. Somewhat. Not as much as me. There's going to be a giant wall city, maybe in 40 years. Russia sucks.
We talked about books.
Books are fun. And I don't know. Drink Prime. Pay me. But either way, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being on. I appreciate your...
Is that what you were trying to do?
Yeah, handshake. That's what I was trying to do.
Were you?
Yes.
Well, that was very awkward. You just go, thank you.
Thank you.
And you're... Nice to meet you.
I appreciate you to be my guest and come back up just for this. I know this was the only reason you came up this weekend.
100%.
And I appreciate you actually doing this, because I know you're like, yeah. But
You're like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you for doing this. And I guess Don't fucking buy TikTok porn anymore. So your card
That's
isn't.
not what I fucking did.
It's
I
something.
didn't do anything.
Don't get your card hacked. And
I hope not.
don't fail your classes.
I hope not.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys all next week. Thank you very much for listening. I guess at the end of this, just be sure to subscribe. I mean, I forgot to mention it earlier, but
Subscribe, like, comment down below.
yeah. But all right, well, I'll see you guys next week. Peace out, everybody.